The next project that I want to show you on a wood surface is embossing on wood. Now, when you emboss on wood, you can either stain, as I have here, or you can base coat your surface, which means that it has an opaque coverage on it. The thing about embossing over a painted surface, two things to keep in mind. One, you need to keep moving the heat gun so that you don't overheat the paint and then cause it to bubble. So I will show you that. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is you want to use a hard wood surface. So you want to use something that's made out of para wood, elm, a better quality wood. You don't want to use anything made out of pine because when you heat it, it will draw the sap out of the wood and it'll ruin your project. So really, most of the wood on the market, even in the crafts chains, is a harder wood and will work for this technique. All right, so what we're going to do, I went ahead and base coated this project, and I selected the same element that I did on the other frame, and I'm going to ink this up using the Sukaneko Versamark ink. So I'm going to ink that all up. And I'm just going to stamp it onto the surface. And then what I do is every time I stamp the image, I come back with whichever color of powder I want to use. And I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this on so that I can see where I've stamped. Since it's a clear ink, so tap that off. Little, right? So then I always use a piece of paper to do this, so you can create a funnel. And pour it back into the bottle. So I usually repeat the image an odd number of times. So this is a pretty small frame, so I'm probably only going to do this like 3 times. Okay, and I'm going to shake this off. Okay, then what you can do if you have a little brush, if you have areas where you have powder that's kind of stuck, you can come back with the brush and just dust that off before you heat set this. So what you want to do when you're heating this is you're going to very carefully watch and see as the embossing powder changes and becomes shiny. Now you need it to be totally cured, but you don't want to heat the same area too long. So I usually do little circular motions and move it back and forth this way, and just keep watching until it gets shiny. Okay, so you want to give that a minute to let it cool back down. And then I'm going to move on to my next color. Okay, and you're done. Now the embossing powder already has a shiny finish to it, and I actually like that contrast with the matte finish of the paint, so I usually don't even varnish these pieces. I just leave them like that. It's really quick and easy. So anyway, that's how you do embossing on wood.